Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome to another episode of Episode Rundown, where I, Shady Doorags, run down the episodes of Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Today we're looking at Episode 9, Rogercop. This episode, this is where the cop that we've seen in past episodes, he comes to the school for career day. He's actually, I can't remember her name, the sidekick of Chloe. He's actually her dad. And he goes to the school, and Chloe is there. Well, it's the school, of course. Chloe's there. Chloe's bracelet goes missing because Plaid takes it. Plaid thinks it's Camera Bear. He tries to eat it. It gets stuck on his head, and then he goes back to Adrian with it stuck on his head. Chloe blames Marinette though when she can't find it, and she demands that the cop arrest Marinette for stealing the bracelet. The cop says he can't arrest anybody without evidence, and the mayor is also there because it's career day, so pretty much all the parents are there except Adrian's. And the mayor demands that he take action. The guy says, no, that's illegal, he can't do it, so the mayor fires him. So that's the whole setup for the Akuma. The cop becomes the Akuma. He becomes Rogercop, which is he's a play off of Robocop. His design is, it's kind of boring because it's straight up Robocop. I guess if you've never seen Robocop or any parody of it, but I've seen plenty of parodies of Robocop and I've seen Robocop, so the design was good. It's just I've seen it so many times before. He had really cool powers, but he used his handcuff powers the most, in which he can shoot lasers at somebody, it handcuffs them, and then he can order their hands to do whatever it is he wants them to do. So. But he had a bunch of other cool powers like lasers, and he had this flying car that he had. So Ladybug and Cat Noir pretty much have to stop him, do their usual thing. He actually manages to get the mayor to give him complete control over the town, or is it the city? I mean, they live in Paris, so I guess he gets complete control of Paris. And Cat Noir and Ladybug become public enemy #1, which... This brought about some disappointment in me because I don't like it in a superhero show when the cops just become pretty much useless, and the cops could not do anything to Ladybug or Cat Noir. Like, Cat Noir pretty much defeated the entire police force by himself, just to distract so Ladybug could get into whatever the mayor's house is or whatever. The mayor's office. City Hall, that's what it's called. City Hall. So, this one, I won't say it's the worst episode I've ever seen, but there were a lot of things I disliked about this episode. For one, well, let's do the usual, start with the things I liked. I liked that when Marinette was called out, I liked that she defended herself, obviously. Marinette is, a lot of times, she's portrayed as this kind of shy girl, but when it comes to Chloe, that's not true. I'm not even sure I would call her shy. I know I've been calling her shy throughout these videos, but I think that's the wrong word because while she is nervous around Adrian, I think she just lacks self-esteem, but she's still willing to do stuff. Like she's like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I don't know how I'm going to do this or something like that. She actually is pretty confident when I think about it. I think I've been falsely judging her in the past when I call her shy all those times. Because when Chloe accuses her, no, she downright stands up for herself. I like that the dad refused to let anything happen to his daughter. Not the mayor. Marinette's dad. I like that Marinette's dad refused to let anything happen to his daughter, but I also liked when Marinette started accusing everyone else that the dad stepped in and said, Marinette, you're being just as bad as Chloe. Because I felt what Marinette was doing was justified to her character. She was accused of something she did not do. And so she wanted to prove that she didn't want to prove that she didn't do it. She wanted to prove that Chloe was being wrong, that Chloe was falsely justifying her actions for blaming Marinette. So she said, hey, here's all this evidence that says any of us could have done it. So you need to suspect all of us. And that got everyone else upset because nobody likes to be accused of a crime they didn't do. And that's when the dad stepped in and said, "You're being just as bad as her." That worked. I think that whole scenario worked. Marinette doing something that seemed completely justified, but to everyone else, it was completely wrong. I think that all worked really well together. But what made me really just not like this episode, it wasn't a particular story thing. There were some story things that made me not like this episode, but it was the annoyance. They take Chloe and her dad, and they just amp their annoyance up to 11 for, I want to say for no reason, but I think that's just what they try to do with Chloe. They just try to make her annoying so you can hate her. And she's not a character I like to hate. I think she could be a good bully character. Like, I think when I think about good bully characters, I think about like Bonnie from Kim Possible or Pacifica from Gravity Falls. These characters who they had their own merits, their own good things about them, and they believed those good things about them made them higher than their peers. That's what I think is that's what I think of when I think of a good bully. Like, I don't think of someone like Chloe, who everyone pretty much hates Chloe, but she lives in this delusional world where everyone loves her. Like, even like if you go back to like Diamond Tiara, I know I had some issues with how Diamond Tiara was reformed, but during her bully stage, not everyone hated Diamond Tiara. Only the CMC had issues with her, and even then, they still sometimes interacted with her in a friendly manner. So, yeah, I think they're doing a really bad job with Chloe's character all around, and they're just sticking to, let's make her annoying. Let's just make everyone hate her, and she's not a character you like to hate. It's the boring kind of hate. It's very easy to make a character unlikable. But I think the main problem I have with this episode is that nobody, with the exception of Marinette, nobody faced any consequences. At the end, it was revealed that well, it wasn't revealed. Cat Noir takes Chloe's ring and he throws it on the floor inside City Hall. That makes Marinette believe, or that makes Ladybug believe that it was in Chloe's purse the whole time. So she puts it in Chloe's purse, and that makes everyone else believe that it was in fact in Chloe's purse. But nobody suffers any consequence. The mayor doesn't suffer any consequence for abusing his power. Chloe does not suffer any consequence for falsely accusing people. Adrian does not suffer any consequences. He was technically the one who stole it. It was Plaid who stole it, and Plaid did it by accident. But from an outsider's perspective, you would think that Adrian did it. He suffers no consequence. So everybody pretty much got away with these horrible acts that were going on throughout the episode. And that really annoyed me. That did not sit well with me. And one more issue I noticed, but this is not an issue with the episode, it's an issue with the show. I've noticed this since the stormy weather episode, and I haven't really said anything because sometimes, until now, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. But basically, I cannot recall a time where Ladybug and Cat Noir have been injured. And that's not good. For a superhero story, that's really not good. Like, I've already explained that the lucky charm makes it so I can never fear for Ladybug. She's always going to get out of whatever situation she's in because the lucky charm, its job is to do that, to get her out of whatever situation. The fact that these two superheroes have never been injured before, it just makes me think, how can anybody do any, like, my expectations are going to say they're never going to get hurt. Because that's how the human brain works. We see patterns and we draw conclusions from those patterns. These two have never been hurt, so they're never going to be hurt. So maybe I'll be wrong, and that actually will happen. They actually will get physically injured, like Adrian will break his arm or something like that. But I can't fear for these characters. And I noticed it in the stormy weather episode, because in that episode, Adrian got blasted from a really high place, like really high, really far, and he fell, like, I'm pretty sure in that episode he landed like on his face on hard concrete and then just got back up. And then in later episodes, we'll see parts where, like in the last episode, he was hanging off of a ledge with a ball and chain tied to his foot. And I'm like, that's not very high. Adrian, you've fallen from higher places than that and not been injured. You can let go. Like, he was hanging on for dear life trying to let go. Like, dude, that's just one story. You have fallen from higher places. So I can never think that these two characters are going to be injured just because of that. All in all, I'd say I disliked the episode just because of how annoying Chloe was and how annoying her dad was. They were really annoying, especially the dad. Like I expected more from the dad. I always expect more from parent figures or adult figures. He was behaving like a straight up child. I'm the boss, so you have to do what I say, even though it's illegal, even though there's all these witnesses here. No, that wouldn't work. That would not work. But it is what it is. That, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this episode right now. I will see you guys in the next time for episode 10. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, I'll be to say.